my wonderful friends, and welcome back to another episode of Facts, Opinions, and Real Talk. I'm your host, Heather Honey. On my channel, I like to break down the important issues and with maybe just a dash of fun and a sprinkle of truth. So, before we get started with tonight's special guest, just a few channel reminders. I'm the only one that's running this channel. One woman show, so we may have tech errors. I don't know. It might freeze up. I don't know. We'll just go with it. So you don't have to let me know in the chat. I've got someone that I've got a moderator that will let me know. So just hang tight if we do have any issues. And then let's talk about some trolls. With the elections, a lot of mudslinging that has been unnecessary. I don't see it in the chat. I don't mind if you chat and have a difference of opinion, but it needs to be healthy dialogue and not putting anyone down. And if you can't back it up with facts, don't say it at all. And if you can't follow these rules, I will ban you from my channel. I don't do timeouts and I don't give second chances. We're all adults and you can behave. All right. And so I guess let's get started because this is going to be exciting. I'm excited. So our special guest, let's go over the bio, spent over 25 years in the legal field, holds a degree in accounting, and has 15 years of own experience in municipal government, including over 10 years in the legal department of another city and serving on the city council before being elected mayor in 2020. During her time as mayor, she has led improvements in public safety, strengthened the city's finances, and worked on infrastructure and economic development projects to prepare Southside for the future. She's also built strong relationships with not only state, but federal leaders as well to advocate for our Southside community. All right, so let's bring on our guest for tonight. Miss Mayor, listen to me, Miss Mayor, I'm going to give you a bunch of titles for it. So with Mayor Dana Snyder. Thank you so much again for coming back on the show. I know this is something different. People aren't used to it. I think some people don't know how to, they just don't know. And it's just a new way of journalism and getting to know people and spreading people's words out. So I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're so busy. So thank you so much.
Well, you are so welcome. And it has been a full day, Grandparents' Day and all kinds of different
gosh, things. I bet. All right, let's get started. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. All right. So I have been looking at some questions, and so we're going to get started right on with the question portion of our discussion. And let's see here. Okay, so during your 5 years as mayor of Southside, what are a few things you wished you had done differently?
Oh, wow. Well, coming into the mayor's position, there's a lot of things that you learn along the way. I feel like I had the experience of municipal government prior to taking office as mayor. I knew a lot about the city because I'm from here. I grew up here. I'm passionate about the city. But looking back, there's been projects in the works, i.e. the grocery store, the bridge. That's taken a lot of time over the past 5 years. And I guess a big thing I learned was patience, because you can't just snap your fingers and get something done. You have to be persistent. You have to keep working. You have to stay in their ear about different things. And I'm talking about the bridge there. It's right. You just have to be persistent and you have to be patient. Everybody says, well, when's it coming? When's it coming? And for a while, you didn't know. You just knew you were making progress on it and you were getting further with it. But I had to learn a lot of patience. As far as changing anything, I think there's plenty of things we could all go back and say we would change. Mm-hmm. But I think that the trials we go through and the things that we go through just help you grow and make you stronger, moving forward. So I don't know that I would change anything.
No, I agree. Um, when you go through difficult times, you're right. It makes you strong. You grow as a person. You learn, and then you move forward. And you're like, okay, that didn't work. So let's try this. So no, that's it. I appreciate that. That's good. Okay, so let's talk about the master plan. Some people I noticed they still don't quite understand what the master plan is. They've heard the word, they've heard different things, and is it set in stone, or what's they just don't know what master plan is. And can in simple terms, can you explain to the viewers like what a master plan is for a city?
So it's like in life, we all have a life plan. We all plan on one day we're going to buy a house and we've got to save for it and we've got to do different things. And you plan that time out 5 years, 10 years, when you're going to pay off your house. A master plan is a roadmap for the city. It's a concept. It doesn't mean that everything in that plan is going to be done. It's just something that you can look at to the future and you can say, okay, this is, this is a 20-year plan out. This is what we would like to see somewhere in the city. It was community input. We had several members, about 25 members on a steering committee, which drives the talks. And, they talk to their neighbors and they bring things back to that steering committee and they help put that plan together. The company that came in and did that for us also worked on plans in other cities, Rainbow City, Gadsden, many other cities in the state. So they were very, very well prepared. And they came in and they took pictures all over the city just to kind of give us a roadmap of this is what we've got. What does the community want? We had 2 or 3 open, and any of the meetings are open, but 2 or 3 meetings that we planned for the community to provide their input too on that. So we use it in grants, developers that come in, just say we'll just say, for instance, we'll just use Waffle House. Waffle House is coming. And they're not as big of a store as what like Walmart is, or a bigger restaurant chain.
Right.
But developers and retail people and economic developers, they come in, they look at your master plans and see that you have a plan for the future. They're not going to want to bring their store here or their restaurant here without the people that are going to buy from them. Second, they're not going to open any kind of business here without knowing that the city is well put together, has good leadership, and has a plan moving forward into the future. Because they're investing in the community by coming here. So they want to see that there's a plan. Right. I've had a lot of people ask me about the farmland. The master plan is not anything about taking away our farmland. I grew up on one. I still live on one.
Yeah.
We love our farmland, and if we could go back to the 80s,
yeah,
we would. But things change, and as times change, our infrastructure has to improve for that. And we've had an influx of people moving in. So the master plan is something we can use in grant applications. It's something that even developers of subdivisions look at, who's going to buy these houses in the city? If they have children, where are the parks? Where are the ball fields? Where are things of that nature? So it's a roadmap, and anything in that master plan has to be put back through the planning commission, the zoning board, the city council before it can be done.
Right.
The only thing we've approved in that master plan is the Highway 77 corridor overlay. And that's where economic growth will come from, is the businesses along Highway 77.
Right.
And plans change. They actually suggest that you update your master plan every 5 years or so to make sure that is this still what you want it to look like? Is there community input that changes something? And I believe it had been 15 years since the city had one done.
Wow. That's That's crazy because especially now with technology, I mean, you have easier access to get things done like this. So it's kind of like an outline of what the city may do or may not do and for others to view and
Yeah.
also uh, show um, future
So that you
investors.
have, yeah,
Yeah.
that you have a
Hey,
plan.
right. But
Yeah,
it's not set in stone.
it's not set in stone. And community changes things too. You know, when
Mhm.
you get a lot of community feedback, like we have gotten, you
Mhm.
know, the next time we do this, it will change. You know,
Right.
your plans always change, even in your
Right.
private life, your plans
Hmm.
always change. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
did have one man ask me earlier about the RV park that was on their property on this plan.
Right.
And I'm not going to say any names or anything, but I said that is just like the Southside Landing. The previous administration back, you know, what, 7, 8 years ago, had a plan to build Southside Landing on another piece of property. Well, that property wasn't for sale, but then
Hmm.
the other piece came up. So
Hmm.
it's just kind of a roadmap. Like, this is what we'd like to see, but we don't know where it can go yet, you know?
Right, right.
Um,
And we talked about in my first interview with you was because I had that question about I hate, losing all our farmland and, I don't see the deer like I used to on my end. And you had told me that, well, y'all aren't going, hey, give us your land. We want to do this. It's up to these landowners if they're going to sell it. And so that educated me a lot about the master plan and
yeah,
how like um subdivision, it's whoever comes and purchases and if it's right for our city. So
right.
I really appreciated that information. And if you didn't see the first interview with me and Mayor Snyder, it's on the playlist, special guest interviews. So you're more than welcome to go back and review that because I learned a lot from that as well. And let's see here. Okay. How would you say your relationships are with the mayors in surrounding cities like Rainbow City, Gadsden,
Hmm.
the things?
I think that all the mayors in the county have a great relationship now.
Hmm.
In 2020, we had not seen that in several years, and many people will comment on that. Of
Hmm.
the relationship weren't there. You know,
Right.
everybody was focusing on what's, this is good for me, and I don't care what they do. There was no collaboration for the whole county. We support each other in the things that we do, and we definitely call each other. You know, why reinvent the wheel when somebody else has dealt with an issue? You know, we find out, how did you handle that issue? um, really close relationship with Mayor Taylor and Mayor Hare and Mayor Means, Mayor Ford. Of course, he's got a lot bigger city to manage
Right. Right. Oh,
than
yeah.
we do, and things are done differently there than they are in our cities. But
Sure.
we have great relationships. We have a mayor's association meeting that meets
Hmm.
once quarterly.
Okay.
We meet every quarter. We meet in one city. One time, I think this next time it's Glencoe. We meet in Southside, one of those meetings, Atala, Gadsden, Rainbow City. Rainbow City always does one at Christmas time, and it's great. He
Oh,
puts on a really good
I bet he puts on a good
association meeting.
Yeah.
But so we collaborate a lot, the mayors, the city council members, and everybody, and we help each other out. We have MOUs with most of the cities, to where our police and fire help each other out too when it's needed.
I've
Uh,
noticed that. Yeah.
so it's we have great relationships.
Yes, I think that's fantastic. I have seen that so much now that a lot of law enforcement, first responders are sharing, what's going on with them.
Hmm.
I'm learning a lot through their Facebook pages, and I'm seeing so many thank yous to Rainbow City, thank yous to Atala, thank yous to the, Etowah County Sheriff.
Hmm.
They're because they're all working together. We all need to, work together for this
Yes.
county.
Yes.
So I think that was so important. And I agree with you about the collaboration. I really didn't see it till actually with the, oh, the I can't even think the chicken plant debacle. That's
Oh,
what I call
yes, the rendering
it. Yeah,
plant.
thank
Yes.
you. Yes, yes. And
That,
I really saw a lot of people come together, for that I had not seen before. So
yes.
I really, you know, earned, or a lot of people earned my respect from that. So I
Mhm.
really appreciated that. Um, what? Let's talk about garbage business. What are some of the pros of having Southside's own sanitation department versus like outsourcing it or contracting through another company?
So the pros are is that we control our, we have our own employees.
Mhm.
We can handle problems as they arise, not have to call a 1-800 number and put in a complaint, and 2 or 3 weeks later it's still hanging out there. So we handle those issues every day. Prior to going out on our own, we were contracted with a company. We would get anywhere from 80 to 100 calls a week when I first came into office, just from residents who were dissatisfied. Their garbage didn't get picked up, their trash can was torn up, or there was trash in their yard from them dumping it out, or just all sorts of different complaints. So what our contract was going to triple. So we were looking at possibly in the neighborhood of $25 to $27 per house at the time to contract it out. Um, I started doing some research. I talked with garbage truck companies. I talked with other cities. The city of Lincoln, um, Mayor Watson and I were became very good friends back when I was on the council, and they had started their own garbage. So I went through with him, and we looked at everything they did. A lot of research, a lot of work went into it. And we found, after looking at the numbers, that for the same amount of money, we could bring it in house, have our own employees, create jobs in the city of Southside, as well as be able to eventually that department be able to fund itself rather than coming out of our general fund. So I can proudly say right now that that sanitation department funds their payroll, their benefits,
Wow.
um, the maintenance on the vehicles, other equipment that's needed in sanitation. Um, you know, Prior to coming into office in 2020, our street department, it was almost like they were non-existent. They did not have the tools they needed to do the things that needed to be done, and we have done that. We have given them that, and they have done an awesome job. As I said, we created 2 other jobs by bringing it in house. They totally fund themselves. I mean, even the garbage truck, the cost of the garbage trucks are funded solely through the money that comes in for those garbage services.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to pay another company the same price to do it and get all these complaints? Or do you want to pay your own employees to do it? And we provide backdoor service for disabled people. They do run backs. If somebody forgets to put their garbage out, they're like, oh no, I forgot. And they call, they will go back and get it that day or the very next day. So we have cut those complaints down almost to nothing now.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up about the disabled elderly,
Mm-hmm.
because they did that for my mom
Yeah.
and me. So, and it is really helpful. And I just can't, I could cry about it, honestly, but they, shout out to Tony. You're
Yes.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Just everybody that has come up with that, thank you. You just don't know how much just something, it seems little to someone else, means so much to
Mhm.
us that need it.
Yes.
And
It's more
also,
it's more personal service.
yes,
And
that's the other thing.
it's
Yeah.
neighbors serving neighbors.
Yes. And I love it. Okay, I'm trying not to cry, because I love my town. But anyways, and I just think it's so sweet, and I love kindness. But so, and plus, I mean, there's not really a company in Southside that we could contract with. So if we like found another company to contract, then that money's going outside of Southside.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be keeping it here. And but anyway, so that's my 2 cents. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts. I appreciate
Welcome.
I'm a citizen, and just like our viewers, I'm just, I'm learning, and we're just having the good dialogue, and I love it. So, okay, let's see. What else do I have on the agenda? Let's see. I'm just kidding.
You're gonna surprise
Okay. No, the fun ones are last, and there'll be surprises. But okay, so one thing that I noticed, and I was looking at on your website about the mayor, your in review for each year, all the things that you've done. So, viewers, if you have not checked that out, and I will put the link to that in the show notes too, so you can see it has the mayor year in review for each year that Mayor Snyder has been in office, and you will see what all she did. And I actually went through all the reports. So I just wanted to let you know. And like I said, I'll put that link in my show notes so that you can have the opportunity to read these reports like I did in case you haven't seen them. But something that I liked a lot about was how the budgets are handled and grants. I am huge about grants. Like, there's always free money out there, and taking opportunities to, to get the free money for our city. So what is the process for deciding like which grant opportunities to pursue for Southside?
So just I'll use the police department for a reference. There are so many grants that they can apply for equipment, things that they need. I mean, from computers up to, new vests, bulletproof vests, things like that. They utilize that grant system great. Our sanitation has with the recycling trailers, and now we have our own baler for recycling, and all of that was through grants. We look at, okay, what do we need, and what grant says that, hey, if you apply for this grant, this is the things that we're going to pay, that you're going to get money for. And so when you apply for a grant, you're applying for a specific thing, like the baler for the recycling.
Right.
And then some of it is a little tedious work because you're going to have to put a narrative in there and talk about your program and talk about why it's needed and things like that. We also look at if there's a match to the grant. Some of the grants do not have matches required. It's 100%. If we don't apply for these grants, and I'll go back to where you said it was free money. It's free money, but it is still our tax money.
Right. Yeah.
And if we're not applying for it to try and bring that tax money through a grant back to our city, they're going to give it to somebody, and we're still going to pay taxes on it. So we've got to take those opportunities to apply for those that fit our needs. So we look at if there's a match. A lot of grants are 80-20, 80% you're going to get from them, 20% you provide yourself, or the city does. And then some are 50-50.
Okay.
Some are 100%. So if there's a $1 million project for land water conservation grant, which we could use and apply for down at our sports complex, we could apply for that. It's $100,000 or $1 million grant, but it's a 50-50. So we have to look at, okay, where is the other half coming from? Because that's going to be up to the city.
Okay.
So now we can, if you've got in the grand scheme of things something planned that's going to cost you more than that, and you're going to have the money for it, whether you get a grant or not, why not apply for it and get that $500,000, even if it's a $2 or $3 million project, that's $500,000 that you're bringing back to the city that's not coming out of your general fund.
Right.
So we have to really look at those to make sure this is something that's going to fit us first, something that we can afford to pay the match on, and especially not apply for those that have strings attached.
Right.
Southside's demographics, most of those grants we can't apply for anyway. We
Right.
are, we are one of the top household incomes in the county. We are the top
Right.
as far as household income.
Hmm.
So that those things are looked at too in grant applications. So there's
Okay.
certain ones, if they've got strings attached, it's
Hmm.
going to be for lower income cities or communities, not
Right.
South.
Okay. Well, thanks for clarifying because I don't know. I guess I just thought about, I don't know if schools are different and like, student loan grant, you don't pay
Mhm.
that back. So I don't ever think about it, the city, part. And that's where, so that's good to know, learn something new.
Yeah.
And I love learning something new every day. Okay. All right. So here's one that, okay. So rumors. Um, there were some rumors about how you got rid of a lot of city workers for Southside. And are you able to elaborate on any of that?
I can, but I can't discuss the issues.
Okay.
Um, and I won't call out any names or anything, but
Sure. No.
um, I didn't come into the office to make any changes with employees. I actually talked to employees before I came into the office and everything. I offered an employee another job to start training in, and she didn't want that responsibility, and I'm fine with that. So as time goes on, as within any business or any other city, people leave for better pay. They leave for better hours. Um, and maybe they leave because they don't want to do the work that is required of them, or um, maybe they just don't agree with the current administration as far as a city goes. Um, I only terminated one employee.
Okay.
The 5 years I've been in office, I've terminated one employee, and it was for something illegal.
Okay.
Other people left for better jobs, better hours. Just police department. You have a turnover in all police departments, just for the fact that it might take a while before somebody working night shift can move to a daytime job.
Right.
And they've got a family, they've got small children. Um, they don't want to work nights forever. And maybe an opportunity arises that they can get a job somewhere else working daytime hours.
Right.
And so there's all sorts of reasons that people leave their jobs. I'm kind of one that stays in a job forever,
Yeah.
but a lot of people leave for different reasons, more
Right.
money or better hours, and that the majority of the people who have left the city have left because they wanted to leave, not
Right.
because they were asked to leave or forced out.
Right. Well, that makes more sense because with rumors, there's exaggerations. There's always this side and this side, and so I don't know. I just felt like I'd like for us to discuss it. So I appreciate you because I know that's a difficult thing to even talk about. So I appreciate you
Well, it
answering that.
is. And there's a couple of employees, and they've been offered other jobs in the city.
Hmm.
And as a leader or as a boss, as a supervisor, whatever, you've got to hold your employees accountable.
Right.
So if they're not doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, nobody wants. It was the hardest thing ever for me to terminate the one employee.
Right.
It was hard, and I didn't want to do it. I'd known this person for years,
Hmm.
um, but you have to hold your employees accountable. And but there have been there's been another issue, and I'll just go ahead and say it to get it out there. That animal control situation. There were reasons why he was moved to the park and rec department, and he loves it there. He gladly accepted the move. He was not terminated, um, and he kept the same pay that he was getting
Okay.
before. So he's very happy where he's at, and Park and Rec supervisor couldn't talk anything bad about him. He thinks he has a great crew, and he does. So
Yeah.
it was a good move. It was a good move for him.
Well, good. I'm glad that worked out. Things you just never know, and so that's good to hear that that worked out.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's have a little fun, and then we'll be wrapping it up here. Okay. If okay, Okay. I'm trying to decide which one I want to do first. Let me do this one first because I want to get it out of the way. Okay. Did I know you or have I ever met you before these two interviews or before the first interview?
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
I
Mm-mm.
don't think
No,
so.
we didn't know each other. So
No.
am I? So I'm not your spy or anything, right?
No.
Okay. I just want to
You're not my spy.
that was a me. That was definitely a Heather. Well, just because. Okay,
Well, that's
now
funny.
it's all right. That's also how I feel sometimes. But anyways, just because I've done an interview. But
Uh-huh.
anyways, all right. So, all right, if you could be any fictional character, who would you be?
Oh. Oh, any fictional
Any
character.
fictional character. Just
Oh. Well, I know what my grandkids would want me to say, or at least a couple of them. You know,
okay. Go for that.
something like Wonder Woman or Superwoman or something.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I don't know. I guess I'll go with some superhero.
Yeah. I could say that. I could say that. I like the Wonder Woman and the Supergirl because
Yeah, Supergirl.
strong woman. So no, I like that. Okay. What would be an item that you would place in a time capsule to be opened by a future city council 100 years from now?
Oh, hmm. A time capsule for 100 years from now.
What would you put in there to be opened by the future city council?
Future city council.
Hmm.
Um, I would probably put my diary in there of my service and kind of just to preserve the history uh, of the past.
Yeah.
I'm a
That's
big proponent for preserving history, so I
mhm.
would probably put my journal in there about my time as mayor in the uh, 21st century.
That's cool. Well, that'd be better than what I did. I'd probably put a sticky note in there that says "Good luck."
And we could
I just think,
probably we could probably put our cell phone in it or something, because
yeah,
by then no telling what kind of technology we'll have.
right. No, I like the answer about the diary because that way they could understand the way you were thinking at during this time and
Hmm.
maybe any kind of problems that they may have. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that. Okay, one last thing, and I promise I'll let you go. What's the last thing you watched on TV? It can be a movie or a show, whatever.
Scandal.
Okay, okay. That's a good
uh,
one. That's a
I
good
turned
series.
that on the other night because we have several shows that are we're waiting to come back out.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is the last one we
Mhm.
finished, and
Yeah.
but yeah, I like any kind of I like the sci-fi stuff. I like the mysteries. I
Mhm.
like any kind of legal
Right.
show. Um, because I've had so much experience in the legal
Right.
world.
Mhm.
I'm definitely a fan of those type shows.
Well, that's good. I don't know if you've seen The Pit, with, Noah Whalley, he was on ER, and, it's like, I think on HBO or something, but anyways, they swept all just about all the Emmys, and it is a
Oh
fantastic
wow!
show, and it's like they had, like, say, 15 episodes, and each episode was a one-hour shift.
Oh
So it took place actually the season took place in one day, but it was like, do you see what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah,
15 episodes equaled
right.
one shift. And so many nurses and ER workers complimented how real that show was. And it
Oh
is fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, you need to check. I
yeah,
mean,
the
I
pit.
just, yeah, The Pit. I think it's like
Okay,
on HBO or something like that. But,
okay,
anyways,
I'll have to check it out.
yeah. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much again
You're
for your
welcome.
time.
You're
I've truly learned a lot. I never thought I would be doing this, but I if I don't ask, how am I going to learn?
right.
So, but anyway, so I truly appreciate everything you've done, And let's not forget, everyone, that next Tuesday, I was almost at August, September the 23rd is election for the runoff. So you need to vote. The polls open at 7 a.m., close at 7 p.m. Do whatever you can to get your booty down there to vote, to let your voice be heard. And Mayor Snyder, is there anything you want to, any final thoughts or anything you want to share?
I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking with you, and no, I didn't know you before, and if you hadn't reached out for interviews, I just maybe I would have seen you at our new Johnson's when it opened.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
definitely.
but
Definitely.
looking forward to talking to you in person and continuing a good relationship because I felt really comfortable in these, and I know you've got somebody else coming up.
Yes,
Please.
Blake. Yeah, tomorrow
Oh,
will
good.
be Blake Habian. So everybody needs to come and
Good.
watch and join in. And so I'm looking forward to that interview too, and just learning, so much. This
Yeah.
is so important. People think, oh, it doesn't affect me. Yeah, yeah, it does. But
Local government is the closest to the people, and it is probably the most important election that you can vote in. I truly believe that, and all elections are important, but this one's right here at home, and I think
right,
it's important that you get out and vote. And I'll ask for your vote, on September 23rd, of course. But yes, a lot of people gave their life for us to have the freedom to vote, and we always remember that and go vote. It doesn't take but a few minutes.
that's right. That is right. Well, okay. Well, thank you again, and it's time to wrap things up. Just a second. There we go. All right. So, friends, thank you so much for taking the time. And if you're on the rewatch crew, I appreciate it. If everyone could give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, it's free, and share this so that others can see it and, think about our election and, who our leaders need to be and what you think, and ask those difficult questions and quit the mudslinging. Stick to the facts. But, anyways, I love you guys. Be safe, be aware of your surroundings, and whatever you do, please do the right thing.